Okay, this is market review for Carlton versus Melbourne in round 12, Friday night game. Clayton Oliver's still out, a couple of outs for Carlton with Nick Newman and George Hewitt out. With Nick Newman out, there's a few more possessions in the back line maybe, but nothing huge, and George Hewitt's just another depth player. So, gone through and entered the sports bet markets. What we're seeing is that basically the lines are very, very strange tonight. It seems that they're really trying to push everyone. They're setting shit lines basically. There's almost no value over anything at all. Today might focus on under the line players. So I'm just gonna have a look at some of these guys who are presenting sort of quite good value here. Took on Brayshaw last week and the Bastard beat the line by 1, but I am tempted to do it again. Let's have a look at Viney as well. Again, got to be careful with these guys with Oliver out, but that's okay. Sam Walsh, $1.16, not going to be worth it. Yeah, there's nothing much to look at here. Kennedy again, let's just have a look at his form. Okay, so now we've popped them there. We should see an update over here. Forgot to clean that out, my bad. Okay, so we've got 5 players to look at, and I haven't cleaned this out either. Very unprepared from last week. So let's get to it. First player on the list is Blake Acres. Actually, just before we do that, let's just have a quick look at the opposition data for disposals last week. No, refresh on me. So teams in question are Carlton and Melbourne. So we can see that Carlton gave up 382. I was at that game and they were fucking miserable. Melbourne 385. Both of them sort of at their rough average. Carlton a few extra, which is surprising because of the SCG. But there's no real trend on either team to suggest that they're doing something different at the moment. Carlton's 4-week average about 360, Melbourne about 370. It's actually increased a little bit. Why? Last week was a bit higher than usual, so they're a bit up and down, but nothing really of note there that says there's to worry about. That's great. So have a look at the betting again. Nope, this one. Blake Acres, first player up. So what can we see here? We're getting shit value everywhere. So what's Melbourne doing? Let's have a look. So all players at the MCG, slight bump on their numbers. Midfielders at the MCG, or wingers in this instance, 2.6. We know that Melbourne give a slight bump to the midfielders, according to this, but nothing major. As you can see there, Melbourne have actually, I don't really like the way this is formatted, 11, 10, 9, 8. So they are actually increasing the number of disposals they're giving at the moment. If we look at Blake Acres' recent form over here, he's had that bad game against the Bulldogs, but aside from that, he's in the 20s. You could argue that there is a bit of value there at 20 plus. This is great. While we have all those players out, it might actually be worth just a little bit of a look there. There's not going to be much else, so I might look at Blake Acres over 20. Again, probably not going to take this, but oops, it's just okay value. We'll pop him in as a yes. Okay, now Doherty's an interesting one. I think under the line here is very good. So his recent form, he's in the mid-20s, but Melbourne have significant impact on defenders, and his line, it's not as good as I'd hoped actually. 20-cent advantage there. It is an advantage, and it's probably better than the other one, but let's pop him in there. Line under, and his line is 26.5. His value's okay. We're expecting $1.67, and we're getting $1.87. So See, the interesting thing here is if you take out this one game here, all of a sudden he's 20 plus his value. To be honest, he's still value under the line anyway. I mean, it's been removed as an outlier regardless, so it doesn't really make a difference to us. Yeah, I mean, if you could bet between 20 and 20 and 20 and 30, I reckon you take it all day long. But let's just go with that. Now, why the fruit? Yeah, okay. So it's only his recent form that's a worry there. I think we'll have a look at it anyway. Okay, Matthew Kennedy. What do we got? We've got a line of 22.5. We've got all of his averages sitting under that line. We know that he was a sub a couple of times. He came back in last game and it was a bit so-so. Bit of a risky one because he's more than capable. But the real question is, does the absence of George Hewitt and Ed Curnow, Ed Curnow no longer the sub, does that mean that he's not going to get 23 against a Melbourne team that does give up a bit of ball? I mean, look, we're actually getting very good value at that line, so I think it would be remiss of us not to take it. Line under 22.5. I will also be betting on Melbourne to win this game. I don't know what the odds are, but we'll find out. Okay, and then finally, two to go actually. Angus Brayshaw again. I said I was going to take him on. Just want to make sure that Carlton don't do ridiculous things. So Carlton actually reduced disposals. So again, under the line is the bet here. Angus Brayshaw from Melbourne. Line under. They've actually dropped his line from last week, even though he went over it, which is interesting. I don't know what this value is ever going to be better than okay. It doesn't seem to ever do it. But we're expecting $1.36 and getting $1.88, so I think that's probably going to be a definite inclusion. And finally, Jack Viney. Now this is a tricky one. Wow, still did nothing with Clayton Oliver out. Not sure why that is, but line of 24.5, we're getting massive value. He's got to be in there. Now, you just got to hope that the Carlton midfield doesn't get destroyed here. Hopefully the likes of Cripps are a bit better this week because we're getting good value there on a number of these guys. I'm probably going to remove Akers on this basis. There's enough value here without him. Let's take him out. And it might be the case that I take these four guys under the line, and even potentially not. It's a very dangerous game taking on Sam Doherty. I might take that out, even though there is value there. In fact, interestingly, what is Melbourne paying to win? Because I think my bet here might be Melbourne to win to those two guys under. We might get some really nice value off that. I'm going to use this same game multi as well here. One leg fails. We get $1.39 on Melbourne. I think I'm going to do that. I can't put it in there. I'll have to override on the other one. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with. These three look at like good value, and Melbourne to win. And if we actually, let's have a look what we get there. So Melbourne, Viney under, Brayshaw under, Kennedy under. 9-1 on that. It's probably worth a little bit of a shake. Maybe I'll do some combinations, a couple of combinations at 475. We'll see. But that's my bet for tonight. Cheers, guys. Good luck.